Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm Damon Campbell with Music'sMyLife.com here at the intersection in Grand Rapids, Michigan with a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm very special. I'm Psalm 1, aka Hologram Kizzie, First Lady of Rhymesayers, Chicagoan, woman at work. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Now, you mentioned the alter ego Hologram Kizzie.
Yes.
Which, for those who don't know, your first rap name was actually Kizzie Tangents.
It was. You know your history. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, by all means.
Yeah, my first name was Kizzie Tangents, based off of Kunta Kinte's daughter in Alex Haley's work, Roots. I always say The Roots, and it's like totally different thing.
Right.
Not The Roots, Roots. Look it up, kids. Kizzie is Kunta Kinte's daughter, and was just a very special character to add to the already like gripping, epic story. And so I really sort of identified with that character. I call myself Kizzie Tangents because I used to go out, bounce off words all the time. Like my wordplay was even more crazier then because I didn't reel it in. Like sometimes people would just be completely just shocked, and it was just because they weren't able to keep up with where I was going.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tangents was the last name for a while. But after that, people started calling me Psalm 1, and I kind of started getting notoriety as Psalm 1.
And prior to that, didn't you actually go by Psalm 65 and 11?
I did go as Psalm 65:11, but that was short-lived because no one could remember the 65:11.
Yeah.
And no one wants, it's like Tech 9 being called Tech 12, just
Right.
because people can't remember it, you know what I mean? So
And
I had to go with the one
Didn't
number.
it have something to do with like that verse saying like dropping fatness or something like that?
Yeah, the 65:11 of Psalm says, I will crown us the year with my goodness, and thy path drop fatness. And when I was a shorty, I was like, it says fatness in the Bible. I'm totally going with that one.
Definitely.
It was like a hip hop thing. So
Totally.
so very much a B girl at heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And speaking of dropping fatness, I couldn't help but notice how much you've slimmed down over the years.
Well, thank you. I gotta keep it healthy.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know how much of that has to do with working out, but you do have a particular vocal exercise that you like to do before each performance, right? That you picked up from Idea before his passing?
Yeah, Idea. Basically, before RIP, before I really got involved with Rhymesayers, like very, intricately before my album even dropped, there were a couple shows where my voice was just done, and he caught wind of that and came to me, told me what tea to get, told me what ointment to get, which I actually don't even need anymore. I carry it with me, but I don't need it because of the proper vocal exercises that I do. And he passed on the wisdom to me. I'll pass it on you guys. Look up the Rock and Roll Singer's Handbook and read it and do it. Breathing is great, and I warm my voice up and down after every performance, and when I don't, I can feel it, so it's just better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but as far as slimming down, I don't know. I've always tried to eat well. No, I haven't. I've never really tried to always eat well, but I'm pretty much vegan now.
Yeah.
I eat vegan most of the time, and I get 3 cheat meals a month, and I do work out 10 minutes a day, unless I'm doing a show in which I work out for an hour.
Absolutely.
But really cutting out meat and dairy. People don't like to hear this, especially in the Midwest, and I love cheeseburgers. Don't get me wrong. But cutting out meat and especially dairy will do wonders for you.
Yeah, no more number 6s with a 6-piece nugget and Dr. Pepper.
I don't eat fast food, but I did have a Juicy Lucy in Minneapolis earlier in the tour. So I still do get it in, but not often.
Meal back in the day.
My go-to meal is a number 6 with cheese and no tomato and honey mustard. That was at Wendy's, and then at McDonald's it was it just depends on how I felt. And McDonald's is a whole other beast that I don't eat anymore.
Yeah.
So. But when I did, it was we went in.
Right, and for the most part, you of all people are actually quite aware of what sorts of things are in the foods that we're eating because you spent a couple of years as a food chemist.
Yeah, that was a really big eye-opener when I first graduated from U of I in chemistry. Looked for a job for a little while, but finally got one at a food chemistry lab in Chicago Heights where we tested pretty much everything from the grocery store, a lot of fast foods and a lot of snack items. We tested for the nutritional facts on the back.
Yeah.
And I just found totally horrible shit about, I'm sorry, can I curse?
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally horrible fuck shit and Taco Bell and some Burger King items. So I was just like, damn.
Right.
And just for some reason, Burger King was a lot more fatty than it needed to be, and they didn't care, you know what I mean? So for me, it just showed the disconnect between what's actually good for us and what the government will allow us to eat. You know, it's
Yeah.
two completely different things.
Right.
Yeah.
And weren't you actually a chemist for an ink supplier briefly as
No,
well?
I almost took a job
Oh, okay.
as a chemist, basically doing quality control for an ink supplier, and literally the job was watching ink dry.
Gosh.
So I did it. I went in and I interviewed for the job. I got the job, but then they said, you know, come in and do the job for a day
Yeah.
and see if you can do it. And I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't watch ink dry.
Yeah, I mean,
It's fucking horrible.
right. When like the most common analogy for boredom,
Yes,
watching paint
it
dry
was,
is
seriously, that
yeah.
was the job.
When that's your job, it's probably time to hit the road.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
Speaking of which, is Slam still around at all, by chance?
Slam.
Your skateboard?
Oh my God. Nah, yeah, it's in Inglewood. It's in my grandmother's house.
What's the story behind Slam?
Basically, my god brother Casey used to skateboard a bunch,
Okay.
you know, in like the 80s, and I was trying to be like him, but I always hurt myself, you know. So I was like, this is horrible. So my mom actually bought me a skateboard, like a city skateboard. It was like
Right.
smaller and like very thick plastic, and it was bright yellow. And I used to take it with me, and at one point I thought I could like teach it to speak. It
Yeah.
was so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had really good times with that, with Slam, and he's still in my grandmother's house.
Okay.
Shout out to you, Slam.
Yeah.
You can't watch TV or anything, but you know.
And didn't I understand your buddy Colin had a lot to do with you becoming interested in hip hop in the first place?
Well, yeah, because my homie Colin Harris, he listened to a lot more hip hop than I did, and I just remember anytime my mom would allow me to go to his house, everything he played for me, I just thought he was like the coolest because he even just knew that it existed.
Yeah.
So through him, I was able to just get into indie hip hop, and then when I started rapping, I took my raps to him first and like rapped
Oh,
for him.
wow.
I was like, "Do you think I could do it?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you can do it."
Yeah.
And like, if he told me maybe you shouldn't, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here with you right
Wow.
now, because I really respected just his ear so much that I was like, man, if he doesn't think I can rap, then I can't rap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So shout out to Colin.
shout out to Colin, man.
Wasn't it like specifically Tribe Called Quest and Fushnikins
Yeah,
that he put you
yeah.
onto it first?
He put me on the Tribe first. He put me on all that stuff first. You know what I mean? So by the time I got to high school, we could talk with each other about what was coming out. But he, like in grammar school, middle school, like he basically gave me the music that I should, you know.
Yeah.
He's like, listen to this, you know.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
didn't he introduce you to a fellow named Catalyst as well?
Yeah, that was his homie, who is a DJ now and who does like mad EDM stuff now. But he was really into hardcore hip hop. And we used to take that trek to Indiana from Chicago and go record with him. And that was his buddy. Colin and Catalyst, they were buddies. And then it was just super simple because, you know, back then it wasn't like Pro Tools and stuff. It was
Yeah.
like if a homie had recording equipment, you went to their
Yeah.
house because you weren't going to get this chance again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Did he charge you at all for like any of those beats, or was it just on the house?
No, we actually brought our own beats.
Oh,
and like
okay.
there was one beat that he made, like we didn't put it out. We like gave it to our friends.
Okay.
I'm sure we had like an argument or two. I remember having an argument with him over the fact that like I had like a raunchy lyric and he compared me to
really?
Little Kim, and I was like pissed.
Yeah.
But this is like, you know what I'm saying, like a straight B girl.
Yeah.
Like how dare you? You know what I mean? But we weren't putting out that stuff commercially. We were just making tapes for our friends. But
Okay.
yeah, we were just trying to make music. We were excited that we were like gonna make some.
Yeah,
you know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Well, artists are constantly having to reinvest in their careers and whatnot, but thankfully, didn't you actually spend some time at an investment firm when you were younger?
Yeah, I worked on Wall Street when I was like 16, and it was for an investment banking firm called Kleinwort Wasserstein, and they're still doing big money stuff now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good experience for me. Really great money, like as a 16-year-old making like $750 a week or some
Yeah.
stupid like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, man, this money is good, but man, I don't want to do this because
Right.
it was like long hours. I had to wear like. I had to dress up all the time. You know what I
Oh.
mean? Like you're
Yeah, I mean,
working on
it's
Wall
Wall
Street. You had
Street,
to
yeah.
wear literally a business suit every single day.
Yeah.
So I didn't really love that, but the money was really good. But I knew how much I had to like give up as far as like kind of being set on a path. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
if you want to be in this firm, you got to do this. I remember I had to take my braids out when I had braids. I was
Wow.
like trying to work there and had braids, and they snatched them out. And it was just you had to do it. You
Yeah.
know? So
Definitely. And now you're at a point where you're able to give back to not only yourself but others as well. For example, didn't you help a girl named Emma like become a rapper on MTV's Made?
Feminema. I don't even know if she's rapping anymore. I would love to hear from her.
Okay.
But yeah, she did Made, and they called me in because her coach. Her main coach was a dude, and he kind of like got shook. She just started having girl issues, you know? Really? So they called me in to just have a female perspective. Yeah. And she came a long way in the like. I mean, there's not a whole lot of time you have with the students, but yeah, she did really well. Yeah. And yeah, she's at school now, like playing, like she got a full scholarship. Wow. So I don't know how much she wants to like rap as a career, but it was a great experience.
But good for her, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And kicking rhymes, of course, being your expertise, but I understand you spent some time coaching soccer as well.
Oh yeah, that was kind of like the entryway into my mentorship. There's a nationally accredited program called America Scores, and what they do is they combine poetry and soccer into team building exercises for kids. So like the after school program, they come in. Let's say you like soccer, you can't do soccer without doing poetry. Let's say you just like poetry, you can't do the poetry without playing the soccer. Yeah. And the kids who are in the same, they all have to form teams within both activities. Okay. So I went in obviously. I went in obviously to do poetry, but they needed staff. So yeah. I was a horrible soccer coach, but yeah. we were good at the poetry part of it.
And you mentioned your own program. Now you have Charm Lab, and
Charm Lab is my company, and we do tutoring and we do a lot of my publishing through the same name. It's like a blanket. Okay. Rhyme School is the partnership between Charm Lab and the Intonation Music Workshop in Chicago. So Rhyme School is our Chicago-based after-school program where we teach kids about rap jobs. Like we basically go in for like a 10-week program already with like a show or video or something at hand that they need to come with a product at the end of it.
Yeah, you kind of take them through like the whole process of creating a song.
Yeah, and what I do is I don't stress like, oh, you guys got to be rappers, because there's inevitably going to be some kids in there that want to rap, you know what I mean? But like what I stress is the behind the scenes stuff. You know, like getting rappers to the place on time, making sure we all know what we're going to wear, so we're color coordinated. Just little things that I don't think the kids really think about. Right. Teaching them that kind of, mentality, how to put together a production is really what it's about, and about telling your own story. Like, literary part of it.
Definitely. And for a lot of them, I'm sure it's their first time writing a song, whereas you grew up writing poetry and whatnot. Yeah. But then when it did come time for you to start making music, that started with a piece called Cell Division. Oh yeah, that was my old crew, PDX. We did a song called Cell Division. It's really actually still not done, so I think all you guys need to finish your parts. It came out, but it wasn't like finished, because we were gonna do this whole crazy like thing where we'd even divide it up even more. But yeah, Cell Division was PDX, and which was my old crew. And did that stand for anything, the PDX?
Yeah, Paradox really is what it stood. There was a lot of other Factory Defects. There were a lot of other ones we tried to do it with the acronym, but mostly it's Paradox. Yeah. And shout out to Mike Eagle, shout out to Rift and Misfit and Frame, everybody. So yeah, Antimatter, Bone Crusher. Jesus, taking me through memory lane with these questions. But yeah, Cell Division was one of our first songs we did as a group, and I remember I had to get home, so I was like crying at the session because my mom had no idea where I was, and I think she would have been mad if she knew I was out like making rap songs. So I just got real shook, and I remember by the end of the session, I was like crying because I wanted to get us home. Yeah. But the song turned out good. Okay. Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, lastly, you've certainly come a long way since then. At this point in your career, do you in any way consider music your life?
Oh, yeah. Music, before I was a professional artist, I always considered that music was going to be a big part of my life. I didn't know it was going to be like my career. Yeah. Music was really always a big part of me, even when I was like a chemist. Like, I wrote The Death of Frequent Flyer, like the album I did on Rhymesayers. I wrote that at the lab. Wow. Because I wasn't thinking I'm writing this for some big opportunity. Yeah. I was just doing music at work because it soothes me.
It's just what you loved.
Yeah, it's just a way for me to relax. So music has always been like in my life, but I didn't know it's going to be my life quite like this. Yeah. So I'm happy about it. I want to keep making sure that it's my life.
Absolutely.
So go out and purchase and support and go to shows and tweet and even share and like when you like an artist, because all those things from the internet to the physical, it really helps us out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I asked that because of my site, once again, being musicsmylife.com. So
that's a great domain.
Right.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your time. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you. I hope you have a good time at the show tonight.
Thank you. Best wishes with everything coming your way. Is there anything else you want to say to the people out there watching?
Just stay tuned. Hit me up on Twitter, because that's really where I like to be hit up on, at Psalm1, PSALMONE, and then also on Facebook. And I got an album with Oh No coming out next year at some point. And I got all the hugs, free hugs. Yeah, Hologram Kizzie, Psalm 1. Just look me up and holler at me.
There you have it. Once again, I'm Damon Campbell, and this is Psalm 1. Thanks for watching.